Hey, it's Jack, no K, Jack in the attic, and it got up to 87 degrees this week. I want to talk about tank tops. This upcoming week, we have a few days with highs in the 60s. For me. Those days are for me. But I have realized that one of my favorite things to knit is tank tops. Basically, I looked in my closet and I realized that. So I want to go over all of the tank tops I've knit. I think I'm going to do them in order. So, do I love knitting tank tops because you get the joy of a finished garment, like a really wearable piece without knitting sleeves? Maybe. Maybe. When I first got back into knitting, if you don't know my whole backstory, all of my lore, I learned to knit as a child, just basic stitches, no shaping. So I knit a lot of scarves, a lot of beanies that are just a tube cinched at the top, you know. So in my 20s, I then picked up some more knitting skills and went from rectangles to triangles and triangles to tank top. So the first garment I ever knit is actually this very cropped tank top. This was also the first yarn I ever bought from Yarn Social. This is a Juniper Moon Farms. I can't remember the name of the yarn itself, but it is, I believe, a cotton linen blend. It's very soft, very nice. It definitely washed to be a lot softer than it started, but that's very typical of linen yarn or any linen blends. It did end up pretty cropped. It was kind of an awkward length at first, but then when I washed it and it shrunk, it became like the correct length for a crop, so I'm not mad at it. I still wear it. I wear it more as like a vest over dresses and things like that, but I still love it. I would, you know, if I hated it, I would frog it. The name of that tank top, it doesn't really have one. The page on the website just says, knitting a tank top for newbies and pros. I think for a very beginner project, it's doable, but it has some harder concepts. This has twisted rib and tubular bind off, which I struggled with both of those. You may notice that the ribbing on the bottom is not twisted because I got sick of it. So the ribbing flips up pretty bad. That's the one thing I would go back and fix if I ever got really bored. The next tank top I knit, basically once I finished that one, I was kind of on a tank top kick. It was probably late April when I finished this one, and I immediately cast on another tank top, and it was the My Little Secret crop by Jessie Maed Designs. This yarn is not showing up nearly as cool on the camera as it looks in real life. In real life, it has kind of oil slick vibes. The yarn I used, I can never find a picture of it online. I look every time I show this tank top. It was called, I think, Lost and Found by Goosey Fibers, something like that. Goosey Fibers. I'm pretty sure the colorway was Lost and Found. I haven't been able to find it since. I held it double with a Bambu yarn that I got a big cone of from Silk City Fibers. It's gray, but it's very green. It leans very green. So I thought the colors looked really nice together with all the gray and purple in the main yarn. And then the green. I love this tank top. It is warmer than I would like for it to be, but it doesn't stop me from wearing it. It is also pretty cropped, but it fits a little bit better than the first tank top for sure. After that, I definitely used some K&C cotton yarn to knit another one of those tank tops. I think it was like a DK weight instead of 2 strands of fingering weight. I used some like red blend of colors to knit one for my mom. I don't have a picture of that, but it's the same pattern. After those, I was getting pretty confident in my tank top abilities, so I cast on yet another tank top. These were all in pretty rapid succession. It was just tank top after tank top after tank top. Thankfully, I've slowed down on the tank tops a little bit, but whatever. So this one, I don't like. It's just too thick. It's the My Favorite Things Knitwear Camisole number 6. I hadn't really figured out gauge. I basically just tried things, and if they worked, they worked, and if they didn't, I kept going. I did have to start this over twice because I was having trouble with the increases and decreases and keeping the like ribbing pattern straight. I do think it ended up looking really nice. It's just really thick and really dense. I'm pretty sure I actually held double 2 strands of sport weight yarn. The fit is still correct. It's just very dense. I think I should actually frog this. It's just not correct for a tank top. I think for being early in my knitting journey, it looks really clean though. It looks like, I feel like I did a good job. I just had like one pretty bad idea in the beginning and stuck with it. So it just didn't work out. I've had this for years. I should frog it. Apparently I took a break from tank tops for a little while after that, or I'm forgetting something. It's entirely possible that I have missed one or multiple tank tops. But one I knit last spring, summer, and got a lot of wear out of is the Pottery Slipover. This is the yarn New Arezzo from Hobbii, sorry. And I love this so much. Yes, even this much of this ruffle it felt like years to complete, but it's so drapey, so airy, it is so comfortable. I love this tank top so much. It is not a very modest piece, but I use it for layering a lot. It's great over another tank top. I've worn it over a dress. Like, I just think it's so cute. And I will say that all of the patterns I'm sharing, they aren't necessarily all size inclusive, just because some of them are from before I was really putting too much thought into that, unfortunately. When I started sharing patterns with other people, like with an audience, it became very clear to me that it makes a lot more sense to share patterns that are applicable to a wider range of people. And so now I take that into my own knitting practice. I want to support size inclusive designers, but that is just to say not all of these patterns are going to fall into that category of fully size inclusive. And this is not necessarily a pattern roundup. I just want to talk about my favorite thing to knit. I will say this one, it only has 5 sizes. I had to pull up the pattern and check, but it does have a lot of built-in positive ease, so this could fit a wide range of sizes. I think this was not designed to be a tank top like for summer necessarily. All of the styled pictures that I've seen are layered over like long sleeve tops and things like that, which I think is also great. Just the drape is so good. I can't get over it. Also last summer, I knit another tank top for my mom. I obviously don't have that one here. That one was the Leela top. I will put it right here. I knit that in black. And the yarn I used, I truly don't remember. But last summer we were really having a moment with boat neck tanks for some reason. I mean, not for no reason, they're cute, I get it, but we were really having a moment with them. And it's so fun to me for some reason to pull in someone who doesn't do fiber arts into a fiber arts trend and be like, hey, you don't know this, but you're wearing something super trendy right now. But a boat neck tank is also like timeless enough that I'm not worried about accidentally falling into like trend cycles in crafting. So yeah, that one was cute. It was a fun make. Enjoyed it. After that, I took, you know, the cold months off of knitting tank tops, apparently, because the next one I made is the Fairy Chasm tank top. The one for my birthday knit along. That looks kind of crazy. The amount of body that isn't a deep V. But that is what it's supposed to look like. This is how I wear it. I wear it over other things, of course. Yeah, I love the strap in the back. I think mine might be a little wide on the shoulders. I might want to shorten the strap in the back just so it sits on my shoulders a little bit easier. I don't have to worry about it like slipping. But other than that, I really like it. I used we talked about the yarn a little bit in one of my last videos, the Hobbii Olivin yarn. It is a half cotton, half linen blend. I'm not even trying with the cat hair today, my goodness. It's the one that's really toothy until you wash it. I can still confirm that it softens up quite a bit. I think this is going to be one that I wear to the pool a lot. I really, really hate getting out of the pool and putting on something that's going to touch me too much, you know? And this is barely a shirt, so it's going to be perfect for that. I completely forgot I knit a tank top for my partner, the Easy tank top by Easy As Knit. You've seen it. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I can't believe I almost forgot this. Okay, so the Easy tank top, I knit it for my partner. This is Cascade Hampton linen and cotton blend. It's definitely a lot softer than other linen and cotton blends I've used before, but I think it's 70-30 or something like that, way more cotton than linen. And I believe the cotton is Pima cotton, so it's gonna be soft. I mentioned at the time that this ended up too big and I was hoping it would shrink. It didn't shrink enough. It just is big, which is not my partner's preference, but it was an experiment and a birthday gift. Crafters love to experiment for people on their birthdays. Sorry to all my loved ones. Anyway, my most recent tank top knit is extremely recent. Like I finished it last night. Technically this morning. It's very recent. And it's technically a bralette. It's the Ripple bralette. Also a Jessie Maed pattern. I am so happy with how this turned out. I still need to wash it. I think it's gonna shrink. Before anyone points it out, yeah, this stripe right here, it's one row too tall. It doesn't match the rest of the stripes. I think it looks better in person than it does on the camera, but also when I wear it, it's so... There's like no gentle way to say this. It's so distorted by the shape of my body that it doesn't matter. This stripe is so not visible when I wear it. But I do love it. It's very soft. The yarn is Cascade Cotton Socks with an X. I love this yarn. I make a lot of stuff out of this yarn. It's kind of the perfect summer yarn because it's cotton, a little bit of nylon, fingering weight, and it's honestly a pretty good deal for the amount of yarn you get. I usually find them for $11 a skein, US. It depends on where you buy it, obviously, but the amount of yarn that comes in those it looks like a normal number, right? I look at the band on the skein of yarn, the hank of yarn, and it looks like a normal number. I'm like, yeah, that's a number of yards of yarn that makes sense. And then I make something with it, and it's like I didn't use any yarn at all. There's so much yarn left. I could make probably 6 of these, with the amount of yarn that I got. Well, with the 2 skeins, you know? It's somehow so much yarn, it really defies laws. So I would love to hear about your favorite tank top knitting patterns because I always want to knit more tank tops. If you've made any of these, did you have a good experience with that? I feel like I've had kind of a really varied experience with tank top knitting in general, but as I get more comfortable in my knitting practice, they have become much easier. That's true of anything. I'm just feeling very comfortable and familiar with the general process of knitting a tank top these days. And I think I feel that way about both top down and bottom up tank tops, which is kind of a nice feeling. Usually I have a preference for one or the other, but with tank tops, I feel like I don't care, and either way it's fine. Also, when I start knitting a tank top, I know that I'm not going to be knitting it for that long. So I think tank tops are both process and product for me. I like both. Anyway, I should be set for the summer. These Midwestern summers are brutal. I am not looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to wearing all of my tank tops. Not that I don't wear them year round, but you know what I mean. So let me know, do you have a favorite tank top pattern? Are you working on a tank top right now? It's the time to be doing that. If that's something you want to do, anyway. Other than that, always take care of your joints. Be sure to rest and stretch. Go live your best yarny life, and I will see you next time. Bye.